Welcome to Kerah Speaks, where the truth runs deep. Faithful, healed, and free. Real talk, real growth. Let the Spirit speak, stories that set you free. Becoming who you're meant to be. Welcome to the conversation. Kerah Speaks.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? This is another episode of Kerah Speaks. If you can go ahead and give me a thumbs up on this video. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. I need to get 500 subscribers by September. So if you are not already subscribed, can you go ahead and subscribe, please? Please, okay? Go ahead and do it right now. If you're listening on the podcast, welcome. Follow this podcast. Head over to YouTube. Subscribe to the video. All right. Go to kerahspeaks.com where you can get my new book, Healing Cost Me Everything. That's available right now on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. But if you want to go straight to it, just go to kerahspeaks.com. You can get that. Also, I have my shirts available on kerahspeaks.com, Faithful, Healed, and Free brand, where it's about having faith. It's about living healed and living free. You can't do all those things without faith, without therapy. And that's what I want to talk about today. It's a little post-therapy clarity. I did some of those videos like after I completed therapy initially, and it was just talking about my journey and the things that I, had clarity about immediately following therapy. But now that it has almost been a year, it's almost been a year, I gotta be honest, there have been times where I wanted to start going back to therapy. I've had the urge to start therapy again, but not for the reasons that you might think. When I was going to therapy, I was seen, validated, understood, corrected. And when I got to the point of completion, I was able to do all those things myself. And I continued to do those things a year after completing therapy. And I wanted to be able to share that awareness with somebody. And I thought about going back to therapy, not weekly like I used to, but going maybe month to month, because I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be understood. I wanted to talk to somebody who got it, who just got it. I needed a mirror. I think for me, the hardest part about being done with therapy, just in my experience, I can't speak for nobody else, is the isolation you feel. I'll put it like this. Let's say you completed something. You had an accomplishment and it took you 10 steps to get there, 10 steps to completion. And once you finally got to the 10th step, you were looking for people around you who had also completed those 10 steps. You wanted to be around people who also, did the work. So you're looking around and you say, hey, I made it to step 10. I want to celebrate. I want to be around people where it resonates and we can reflect on what the things that we learn. But then you look around and you realize everybody ain't on step 10. Some people on step 2. Some people on step 5, step 7. Some people haven't even taken the first step. And that is very lonely. That's very lonely to be in a place where you have all of these things to share. You're ready to do the work. That's the thing about therapy. Once you get done with therapy, you're ready to do it because you've been doing the work this entire time. So you're ready to put it in practice. You're ready to put it in practice with people who you hope have done the work too. But then you realize not everybody has done the work. Some people are still in the process, and that's okay. But you also want to be seen in your process. And there's grief that comes with that. You realize everybody don't want to do the work. Some people don't even feel like they got work to do. A lot of people do not sit with themselves. And they don't want to because it's uncomfortable. That discomfort is unbearable to people. To see the real them, not the one that they put on for the world, not the one that they want everybody to see. I ain't talking about that person. And I'm not talking about the little bit of awareness that they come to. Well, I know I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. No, That's a cop out. That's a cop out. Ain't nobody asking nobody to be perfect. We asking people to be decent. But I'm not here to chastise nobody. I'm just making an observation of what I have seen and my experience and how that feels being on the other side of therapy. It feels very, very lonely and isolating. I'm not saying that I don't have community. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I don't have people who love me. I'm not saying that at all. But it's one thing to be loved and cared for. It's another thing to be understood. And I understand that everybody won't understand everything about me. I don't understand everything about everybody else, but I allow them to just be. I just support them in wherever I can support them. And I have that as well. But as someone who feels deeply, thinks deeply, I want to be met in that. And right now, I don't have that. So I initially thought about returning to therapy so I can get that same space. But I decided against. So you know what keeps me out of therapy? What keeps me from reverting back is the thing that I remember my former therapist said at our very last session. She told me, she said, people can always come back. People can always come back to therapy. But it should mean that much more to you to continue to do the work. She said, because if you are still correcting, if you're still being aware, that means the work is still being done. And it should mean that much more to you to want to continue to do it on your own. And she's right. She's right. So that's what keeps me, focused on my goal. And my goal is to remain self-sufficient, because I could go back to therapy. There's no shame in that. If I needed to, I would absolutely go back to therapy if I felt like I needed to go back. But I have all the tools that I need. I have all the things that I need to maintain. And while it does feel very lonely now, not being seen and understood in this space of healing, I know that the deeper I go and the more I move forward, I know that Yahweh will eventually send me people, a community who understands, because there are a lot of people out here who have completed therapy, or not even just completed therapy. There are a lot of people who are really self-aware and who are, really passionate about doing their own personal work to be better people in the world. And I know that there are many people out there, and those people I will find, I could be around people just to say that I'm around people, but that's not what I want. I really am looking for a Lion community this go round, and I know I'll find those things. So, if you are a person on your healing journey, or you have completed your healing journey, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Have you found your community? Are you still looking, or are you just trying to be by yourself right now? Because I think that's where I am. I have a TikTok page, and you guys should go and follow me. It's Kerah Speaks on TikTok. I have a pretty large following on there, but it's not about, healing and things like that. I grew that following based off, just being silly and things like that. But I have kind of repurposed it to talk about the same things that I talk about on here. So you should go and follow me on TikTok, as well as all my other social medias, which are all Kerah Speaks. But I talked on TikTok about how, I think I've changed my mind about finding new friends. And it's not because I have a hard time making friends. I don't have a hard time making friends at all. People want to hang out with me. I just don't be wanting to hang out with people. Not because I don't like people. I love people. I love meeting new people. But I just think I have gotten to this point in my life where I just don't want to just hang around people just for the sake of proximity. I don't want it. And if I'm going to hang around somebody, I really need them to be aligned with me, and I want to be aligned with them. I don't want to be thinking in the back of my mind, do they not really like me? I don't want to deal with shady comments. I don't want to have to be dealing with people who want to change me or put me in a box or put me on a pedestal. I don't want that. I want a community of women to be able to coexist and to thrive and flourish, and with women who are doing the work. They're doing the work. I would prefer that they have gone to therapy, but it's not a requirement. I think my expectation for friendship is similar to my expectation for a romantic partnership. Just as I am very intentional and specific about what type of man I want, I'm very intentional and specific about what type of friends I want. So and I ain't coming down from that. Before, I did. And also, let me say this. I saw something on Instagram where this lady said the mistake she made in her previous friendship is she didn't pray about them before she got into it. And I believe that is the same thing for me. That is one mistake I made. So many times we get in, and I ain't even going to talk about relationships because we know that. Let's talk about friendships for a second. So many times we get in friendships and we do not pray about them friends. We don't pray about them. I think we pray about our romantic relationships. I know I do. But when it came to friendships, before getting in so deep, before getting close to people, I did not pray that if this person's supposed to be in my life, I always prayed when it was too late. I prayed after there was a conflict. I prayed after there was a rupture, or when there was tension. I prayed the removal prayer. I should have been praying, hey, Yahweh, this person supposed to be in my life? Is this the person that I need to do life with? Are these people spiritually, emotionally, and physically aligned with me? So that's something that I'm going to do next time. I'm going to pray for my friendships before I have to get to the removal prayer. So I'm really thankful that I did see that video because it made me think differently. Think differently. So that's all the time I have. Just wanted to share my thoughts today. And these thoughts are just off the top of the dome. These are raw. This is something I was actually just thinking about. And I said, let me turn on the camera. Let me turn on the microphone and say what I got to say. Also, if you have been watching Kerah Speaks, you should have seen that I have something called the Calling Series, where I talk to fellow creatives who have answered the call to create. It is not about what they do, it's more about why they do what they do. And I decided to create this series because, like I said, I wanted to be seen and validated, and I wanted a mirror. So I decided to create that type of space and to speak to people who are in the process of creating, not people who have got it all figured out and got it all together. It's about people who are in the process of creating. They are seeing the vision and they are making it plain. They are walking according to obedience. They are using their faith to go after their dreams or their heart's desires right now. Some of them might not be making money for it right now, but it's still a dream. It's still a passion. And I wanted to create that space to talk to the people about what they create, about who they are, their creative process, because these are things that I wanted. Like I just said in this video, these are things that I want. So I say, if these are things that I want, I got to be that to somebody else. And in turn, it's also feeding that desire and that need for me by creating the space for other creatives. So if you know any creatives who are passionate about what they do, send them on my way. I would love to speak to them. And if you are one of those people, go ahead and drop it in the comment that you would like to be on the Calling Series, and I would love to get in touch with you. Or you can hit me up on my email, kerahspeaks@gmail.com. That's all the time that I have. I'll see y'all next time right here on Kerah Speaks. Follow this podcast and connect with me at kerahspeaks.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Kerah Speaks.